Alright everybody, drop what you're doing. Nintendo just announced the 11.0.0 update patch notes, and goodness, this is crazy. But first of all, let me get it out of the way. Yes, it's been a while since I've made a video. I apologize. I've been wanting to try to get back into making content this year, and this seems like a pretty good excuse to do so. So with all that out of the way, let's quit stalling. Be sure to like and comment on the video, and let's get to these patch notes. Alright, I'm going to start with the stuff they dropped on X this morning first, and like goodness, this stuff's crazy. So Inklings can have aura now. It seems to be essentially a kill streak. You kill multiple enemies in a row and you get some buffs to your abilities. They don't say exactly what those buffs are here, but they do get to that in the patch notes, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the next thing, now this I'm excited for. And like, guys, come on, I've been advocating for this for so long. If you've been watching me stream, you know I talk about this like almost every stream. Health bars. We've needed it for so long, although kind of in the opposite direction because I've really wanted health bars for your own personal benefit. But being able to see the health of your opponents, I think it's a good step in the right direction. It at least means they're willing to change stuff in that regard. So who knows, maybe in the future they'll give us personal health bars, but for the time being, I think this is a excellent step in that direction. Gives me hope. And then there's this picture that they're using to show the changes they've made to the hitboxes of both the Inkling and Squid forms. Me personally, I don't really see any difference between the Inkling forms of the hitbox. Squid forms, you can obviously see they're making it a lot narrower. Of course, to compensate for that, they're saying they're changing the size of the hitboxes for the individual ink splotches that you're shooting out of your gun. I don't know too much about the technical side of things with the hitboxes and such, so I don't know if this would be considered a overall good change or not. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it ends up playing out. And then finally, they're showing off some major changes they made to Stealth Jump. Essentially, it looks like they changed Stealth Jump into Ninja Squid. If you're using Stealth Jump, then it takes longer to jump to folks that are longer away. I kind of like this change. It gives you a reason to actually use Drop Roller, which I personally use, which is not the reason I'm saying that, by the way. I'm just saying in general. I do wonder to what extent Quick Super Jump is going to mitigate these changes. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll be looking forward to seeing how it goes. Alright, so I got the patch notes up here now. There's a couple extra things I wanted to talk about while I got these up. Okay, so earlier we said the flow aura buffs some of your abilities. In the patch notes, they actually specify exactly which abilities they're buffing. Those are run speed up, swim speed up, ink resistance up, and intensify action. You got a pretty good amount of abilities there that would be affected by that. They also describe in a pretty good detail exactly how the health bars are going to work. I think these are pretty reasonable ways to do it, making it so you can't see it when your opponent's not in view. You don't want to give their position away, obviously. Don't want to make it too in your face either, so just kind of there for a few seconds and then goes away. I think it's a pretty good way to do it. Alright, so on to the changes to the weapons that they're making. The one I really want to zero in on here is the Dynamo Roller. Looks like to me they're making some changes that would make it more like how it worked in Splatoon 2, which to me, as a former Dynamo main in Splatoon 2, kind of dropped it in Splatoon 3 on account of a number of reasons, which, to be fair, these patches do seem to address. For example, being able to one-shot your opponent from a further distance away. This is exactly why I stopped playing the Dynamo. I used to use main power-up. Yeah, I know, you can call me whatever, but that's how it was. And when you can no longer buff it anymore with main power-up, it's just not as good. It's not as fun to play. It's not as good. It doesn't feel as good to use. So that they're trying to fix it up a little bit, I respect that. I might try to pick it back up, play it a little more, see how it goes. I think the extra ink consumption is a reasonable trade-off for that, so I'm willing to see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it. The rest of the changes don't really pertain to me except for the stuff they're doing to the reef slider. I've heard it was a pain in splat zones. As you know, I don't like splat zones, so it's kind of hit or miss for me, whatever, in that regard. But I do think it just being able to just take the zone like that is a bit much, even so. It's good to see that they're at least willing to adjust this kind of stuff. I don't necessarily know how I feel about them decreasing the max distance that the reef slider will slide, but you take what you can get, I suppose. Hey, I'm nearing a gold badge on the reef slider on account of my Dapple Doolies. So anything that inherently makes it less powerful, I'm probably not going to appreciate in the first place, but for the better good, I suppose, as they say. So those are the highlights from what I care about in the patch notes anyway. In summary, I'd say it's a pretty good patch. Like those health bars, like for a number of reasons, accessibility included, I think it's going to be a really good positive change. Don't necessarily know how I feel about the aura overall. I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly how it plays out. I'm willing to give it a shot at least, especially since it's in the game now and that's how it goes. But anyway, the Dynamo definitely needed that buff. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. Hopefully it's good enough that I'll actually want to main it again. That would be nice. If I had to give it a score, probably an 8 out of 10 patch. I think it's pretty good. It's going to add some good mechanics to the game, and I can't wait to see how it works. But anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and leave it there. What do y'all think about the patch? You love it? Hate it? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to like the video and subscribe if you think I've earned it. Thanks for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. See ya!